So welcome to the November 16th Higher Education Tableau User Group. We are recording this session and we'll share that with you after Tableau has a chance to do their thing and clean it up. And I just want to cover today's agenda. We're going to have a few announcements, meet a community member, followed by tips and tricks and a recap of the Tableau conference. The only announcement I have for you all today is the December 2nd webinar on student success. Dan Smiley is going to be hosting that. If you are interested in presenting, he may still need speakers for that event. You can send him an email and find out. If anyone else has an announcement, a job opening or anything that they want to share with the group, please feel free to come off mute. Let us know what's going on.
I've got a late breaking one thanks to our wonderful friends at Tableau. They are providing us some gift cards. So we're going to have a random drawing at various, or rather at one point or throughout the meeting for you to grab a Tableau Tableau store gift card. So stay online. That's it. Just stay online.
Anybody else have announcements? If you don't feel comfortable coming off mute, you can also put them in the chat. And I'll just remind you too, if you have open positions that come up, throughout the month, there is an open position Slack channel that you can post that in to share with the group. All right, well, if no one has announcements, we can move on to meet our community member. I'm going to try really hard to remember how to pronounce your name, Anna. This is Anna Kourouniotis. Maybe I didn't butcher it too bad. From Duke University. We have her information, her Tableau Public, LinkedIn, and I guess this is a YouTube channel?
Yep, yes it is.
Excellent. All right, so we just have a few questions we're going to ask you, and for the last 5 minutes or so, we'll do a lightning round. We'll just start off with an easy one. Tell us a little about yourself. Describe your role and your team.
Okay, well, thanks for having me. This is really great. So my upgraded title is actually database analyst. I've been working at the Office of the University Registrar in the area of compliance and reporting here at Duke University in Durham, North Carolina. I'm basically the data person for our office, kind of like a one-woman show. I work with various business intelligence reporting tools and technologies to develop analysis, data feeds, data cleansing, reporting solutions for folks across campus. And I also train users on PeopleSoft Query.
And what kind of data do you work with?
I work primarily with student record data, but have on occasion work with admissions.
And then how do you use Tableau when you're working at Duke?
So I started really using Tableau for work right before the pandemic hit. I proposed Tableau solutions to our department staff when like a plain extract or a BI publisher report won't serve their needs to view historical data, for example, in a way that provides them with some insight.
Do you have a favorite Tableau project that you've worked on?
Yeah, actually, my favorite one is the one I'm working on right now for our history department, which is a course enrollment and student population dashboard with course data all the way back from 2000. Really enjoying working on this one because I'm diving deep into cross-listed class setup, which is a joy and a pain to work with. And it's also a good teaching opportunity for a very open-minded historian who wants to learn more about data.
That's awesome from someone who works with cross-listed courses. So that kind of leads us right into the next question of what's your favorite Tableau feature?
Overlays.
And what would you like to learn more about?
Advanced formulas, I think. Definitely. Yeah.
What is one thing you wish you could tell yourself when you were a Tableau newbie?
Oh, God, I actually feel like a newbie right now. So I don't really know what I should tell somebody, but hypothetically, if someone was just about to start working, like, day one with the tool, I'd recommend reading up on visualization methodology before tackling the tool and signing up for e-learning through Tableau site. Get your hands on a copy of the big book of dashboards and effective data visualizations.
I actually have a copy of that book right over there.
Mhm.
Do you use Tableau outside of your job at all?
Yeah, rarely, because I don't have time. I've got a 3-year-old and he requires a lot of attention and love. But I try to put myself out there when I do have some free time. Actually, I participated in the Iron Viz for the year, which it was really motivated from my desire to complete a data project that I was working on before that. I actually won a Tableau regional contest, and the theme was sports. So I kind of like finished my project for Iron Viz. It was just a motivating factor. But yeah, that's about all I did outside of work with Tableau.
Hey, that is a great place to start. You did start small. Is there anything else that you want to add before we jump over to the lightning round?
Yeah, so I've worked with different reporting tools, and Tableau is definitely the most robust, I'd say. And it's really important that groups like this exist, especially since this group is dedicated to higher ed data. And when I look at stuff that people put out on Slack or other places, it's really, really cool because it gives me like a clear picture of how I can use that data in a way that I currently work with. And being able to learn about the work that you all do at your institutions is helpful and inspiring. That's all I got.
All right, then it's time for the lightning round, Thanksgiving edition. So the idea is you just answer as fast as you can. Okay. We're going to start with an easy one. Duke or UNC?
Duke.
Who has a better mascot? And this is a kind of plays right into today. Duke Blue Devils or Arizona Sun Devils?
Blue Devils.
I thought you might say that.
Yeah.
All right. In keeping with our foodie themes that we have from month to month, do you prefer pumpkin or apple pie charts?
Apple pie charts.
Yams or sweet potatoes?
Can I say neither?
Sure, why not? Are you a team floating or team tiled?
Tiled.
And do you prefer sets or parameters?
Parameters.
Pie charts or donut charts?
Donuts. Yum.
And then donut or waffle chart?
I haven't created a waffle chart. I'll say donut though, because I like donuts more than waffles.
Well, there you go. That's all the questions for our lightning round. We do plan to have a Meet the Community Member Spotlight every month. So if you're interested in being our community member, just reach out to any of the co-leads and let us know. And with that, I'll turn it over to Roshni.
Yeah, this actually might be my slide.
It
So
is.
maybe I could take this one.
Sorry about that.
Come off mute right away. Yeah, I also have kids, so I thought I would share a Thanksgiving Day joke. I'm Crystal Baker from IU Bloomington. So my 7-year-old told me this joke yesterday. What's the difference between a hot potato and a flying pig? And the answer is, one is a heated yam and the other is a yeeted ham. So he had to explain that to me. We don't yeet every day in my house, but anyway, here we go. Moving on. So we really wanted to talk to y'all about, just give you some more specifics about our Slack community, because every time we have one of these community practice meetings, we talk about Slack, we reference it, we invite people to Slack, but we haven't really set aside some like documentation or explanation of what in the world is this tool. And to give some context, we've been around for about a year, and the need for a place to communicate within our higher ed space arose primarily because, as y'all have probably noticed, Tableau doesn't really send a lot of push notifications. And the ones that they send are often either like executive level, like webinar offerings, or kind of more related to like your account status or purchasing vended products, or just kind of general corporate emails. So we really needed a place to communicate about things that maybe take place more at the analyst level and that actually affect higher ed community, that we were sort of insulated from. You don't have to speak politically in our Slack. Like, you can tell it like it is. If the tool is not doing what you need it to do, like, this is our opportunity to push those things up, to come together and advocate for things like a higher ed, data source, or just more resources for our community. So we mobilized and we chose Slack for that, and have seriously grown. In a year, we're over 2,000 members. We're almost to 600 institutions. Anybody in our Slack space has to have a .edu email address to get in. And even though we do have kind of a partner channel where we can still communicate with Tableau, in order to see our general channels, you have to have the .edu. And we've even expanded beyond the ability to actually add emojis. So we're getting even cooler. Are you driving, Roshni? Can you go to the next one? Thank you so much. Yeah, so the beauty, I guess, of what we do in Slack. So Slack stands for Searchable Log of All Communication and Knowledge. And it's more than just an instant messaging tool. So unlike maybe like a Skype, or if you're a millennial like me, you might remember AOL Instant Messenger. Slack is not really like that. It's more of kind of a way to document and memorialize conversations around similar topics. And I know I mentioned push notifications, but you can kind of engage however you want to engage. So they do have an app that you can put on your phone. Thank you for this poll. This is awesome. They have a desktop app that you can download that'll actually give you notifications within your operating system, or you can just go to a website and engage that way. I like the desktop app, and you'll see that we've asked you a poll on how you particularly use Slack, so you can get a sense of like what people are doing. But I like the desktop app, and that's what a lot of the screenshots that we're going to show you quickly, some tips and tricks on how to engage with Slack. That's what this presentation is primarily focused on. So I don't know how to show you the poll results, but we will get there in a minute. So maybe, oh, you got it. Perfect. Cool. Yeah, pretty good distribution there. The desktop app allows you to add multiple workspaces. So that, I think, has been really useful for me, just because my office uses Slack, and there are some community practices that I participate in that are outside of Tableau. I work in admissions, so we've got an admissions community practice. The university at large has one. And then there are even larger Tableau groups that you can join and just add within your app, so you can kind of cross back and forth between different workspaces. And then I think the phone one lets you do that too. When you kind of keep going through, once you set up the app, you can actually adjust your notification preferences. So if you want to receive a ping every time somebody puts something anywhere, you can. Or if you would prefer that you only get a ping when someone mentions you specifically, or even at the channel level, you can set notifications. And you can also temporarily pause or just go away, update your status to share information with your colleagues about where you are. I know my work team is a group of 8 people, so we, especially since going remote, we use Slack a lot for this very reason. And then too, we all have profiles, so it's a great networking opportunity that goes kind of beyond just email exchange or even casual conversations like this. So you can put your name, you can put your institution, you can put your position, your title. Many folks have chosen to put their pronouns in their profile as well, just to help kind of, again, with those communications. And you'll see the difference here on the slide. It just depends on how much information you want before the status dot, depending on what you put in your profile. Again, more customization options. Some of us like to see every single bit of activity that happens in the space. And some of us would rather only see the new activity. So you can, customize this to say like, only show me the things that are unread. Only show me things that are taking place in threads. So this menu just lets you kind of choose what you want to see. And then the next one, we have a little video that hopefully will work here on this Zoom. Let's see what happens when she clicks play. Oh, come on. Oh man, I was gonna really praise technology at its finest because I've never been able to get this to work in Zoom. But it's a GIF that just shows you kind of what a thread looks like. I've got, you can, if you want to click that link, Roshni, that's the same thing that we put in the video, if you don't mind sharing your Slack. She's so good. But a thread is a way of tracking a conversation that may involve a back and forth between one to 5 people that is not necessarily appropriate maybe for the larger group. It's just a way to sort of condense your information, similar to using threads in your email. It looks the exact same way. You can kind of expand and condense the menu based on how much you want to see as part of that conversation. And it's also searchable. And I'm so sorry it didn't work, but if you download the app and start to look for threads, you'll see lots of examples of them.
Here we go. I got one.
Thank you.
Took a while. But yeah, this is one example of one where someone asked a question and then there's just a bunch of people followed up. Some of the threads are really short. There are a few replies, but then there are some, like the one that I was supposed to click the link for, that are really long. But you can see a bunch of these, like 1 reply, X number of replies, that sort of thing, all throughout here. With 6 replies.
And we do, Tableau actually paid for our license. So we have the paid version of Slack, which is pretty rocking because it's going to preserve the conversation history and keep it searchable. So there's not like a size limit to what we're able to share. I mean, I guess don't go uploading like 3-hour-long videos to our Slack. I don't know what the size limit is, but you can search things that have been in since our inception. So if you want to look at something that somebody added to our Slack channel before you joined it, you can. And I want to be, I guess, cognizant of how much time we're spending talking about Slack, because I don't want to take up the entire meeting trying to convince you to use Slack, but it is a super useful tool, not only for just engaging and networking, but also collecting knowledge, because it does sort of serve as a knowledge base. We've got a lot of folks that are in our channel who are always willing to engage and share helpful tips. We've got several Zen masters who are pretty active, especially with detailed problem solving questions. And we've got topics that range from, as you can see, our channels list has grown considerably in the last 6 months. If you go to the channels menu and you click kind of the 3 dots that are on top of each other, you can click show all channels and you'll see all the possible topics that anyone is engaging in. And if you don't see your topic there, you as a user can create your own topic and kind of start your own channel and start engaging there as well. So I hereby grant you free license to do that if you guys want to talk about something that we haven't done for you. This, after all, is our shared tool and we should use it. I think the search is pretty intuitive, so I feel like I don't need to show you this video.
As you and your team work.
Yes.
As you and your team
work. Good. You can search on anything ever. And then there's the 3 dots that I kind of mentioned before, with how to kind of expand what happens in the channels. And you can bookmark things. So if you're always losing the link to Anna's Tableau public website and you really need it to be pinned in a channel, you can click that plus add bookmark, and then that URL will show up in a channel forever. And that, yeah, could be super useful. And of course, you can DM people. So even if they don't show up in your list of contacts, you can click the plus and find a person by name or even by their whatever they have in their profile and send them a quick message, and it will either kind of give you the option, if they've got notifications muted, you can go ahead and send a notification through the Slack app if that option is something they've elected to allow you to do. And then it'll actually tell them that they have a private message waiting for them. And you can do that in groups as well. And you can even make private groups. So if you need to have a DM that you want to be able to invite people to in a channel, you can create a locked channel to do that. So a lot of, oh yeah, this is my favorite slide because my husband and I got in an argument over whether it's pronounced GIF or GIF, and I say GIF, and he says that's a peanut butter and that's wrong. And so as I was like practicing these slides, he's like, you got to make sure that you call it GIF, and I hereby am here to tell you it's GIF. But Slack allows you to use GIFs. So it has a plugin for the website Jiffy, which is just this really cute like way to do reaction memes and stuff. But just remember that like once you put a Jiffy in a conversation, it's there forever and it will stay animated and it will keep like moving on your screen until you scroll away from it. So I put a little Spider-Man GIF on here that I would love for you to show, Roshni. With great power comes great responsibility, you guys. So just please use Jiffy sparingly. Yeah, we should put that in the lightning round. GIF or GIF? It's GIF. And then if you do want to actually call someone, there's an opportunity to do what Slack calls a huddle. So that's a voice call. So we have that functionality as well because we have the paid version of Slack. We've got it all. I think that's my last tips and tricks. Oh, yes. So you can do polls in Slack, and we actually, if we haven't posted it, then we will.
It's posted. It's posted.
It's posted. So we just did a poll that we would love for you to go on over to Slack and check out and answer about whether you'd be interested in seeing our space host an Iron Viz. Whether you'd want to participate, whether you would love to learn and watch and engage a little bit in an Iron Viz. Really want to get a sense of what y'all would like to do, perhaps maybe later in the spring, depending on interest.
And that's it on Slack. Thank you, Crystal. So also, so we mentioned earlier that, Anna's a Blue Devil at Duke, and we had some Arizona Sun Devils coming to join us. And here we go. We've got Paul and Tod from ASU. I've got an Arizona Sun Devil story that I find delightful. My first visit to a thrift store when I was in college in Portland, Oregon. I found this nifty shirt. It was Arizona Sun Devils yellow, and it had Sparky, the Sun Devil, on it. I had no idea for a decade that it was a college shirt. It was just the coolest icon ever. So I have to disagree with Anna. I think the Sun Devils win. Anyway, so Paul and Tod are here to share some of their experience or some of their dashboards and some tips and tricks that they've used in financial dashboards. Both of them have been in higher ed in data viz for about 10 years or more. And Paul has a family of 5. He enjoys cooking, and best of all, to go along with Sparky, some heavy metal music. And Tod loves football. So Paul and Tod, if you guys want to take it away, I will stop sharing and the screen is all yours.
Absolutely. And awesome to hear that you found that you were a Sun Devil 10 years later. So at heart. Hey, everybody, Paul Alvarado here. And within ASU, we work, Tod and I work as data analysis and visualization members. So a lot of what we do is Tableau, SQL, Alteryx, those types of tools. We lead groups talking about data visualization, things like that. So Tod, if you want to.
My introduction, Tod Kemper as well. Data intelligence, business intelligence for ASU, I've been doing over a decade. You notice our backgrounds. We, at the same time as this, ASU has a data conference going on that we have every year. This year and last year it's been on Zoom. So we kind of had the backgrounds queued up. So we rolled with them into this. So anything we can bring back from this user group back to that conference or that community in general would be great.
And I will get us started because we are going to throw a lot of tips out there, hopefully quickly. All right, so what we wanted to start out with is I'm going to show you a dashboard that Todd and I collaborated on. And what this dashboard is I'm going to preview it to you, but I'm also going to explain tip number 1 at the same time. So as you can see, the URL that we give to our audience is this acknowledgement. You can see that we're on an acknowledgement dashboard. So this is actually a dashboard within Tableau Desktop, which I'll show you, that's called acknowledgement. So we published this, and this is the landing page. And when we hand out the URL to everybody, this is the URL that we hand out. And what it is it's just an acknowledgement letting people know that, hey, the dashboard's under development. What they can do is click I understand, and then it will take them to the actual dashboard. So it's just a reminder, especially as we're working through things, hey, like, we're working on this. Another just explanation of things that we're doing is within this dashboard, you can click on these little buttons, and that will change the view. So we'll explain how to do that as well. And as a bonus, we actually do have a waffle chart in here, and it moves. So if that counts for anything, there you go. All right, so that first tip is the acknowledgement button. So I'm going to go ahead and add a floating container or floating vertical container. And this is actually pretty quick to do. We're going to go ahead and change the background. We're going to make it opaque so that you can see a little bit behind it. And then we are going to grab a text, drop it in there, and then we're going to center the text. Just do a little bit of formatting here. So under construction, and then your message here, we can make it bold and black to stand out. Hit OK, maybe pull this down a little bit. And now we're going to grab our navigation button. It's just a navigation button allows you to direct the user to any worksheet or dashboard. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump to the Tempe dashboard. That's the dashboard that after they click I understand, we'll want them to jump to. We're going to use an image, and we had this image that we made in Figma. It just says that I understand. It's a button that says I understand. So we're going to go ahead and make that bigger, and now we're good. Now when we publish again, we'll publish making this the landing page, and then when the user clicks on it, they'll jump to the dashboard that is called Tempe, which we can see that here now at the bottom of my screen. I'm on a Tempe tab. And again, the other tip as far as the navigation goes is a lot of these navigation pieces are just custom images that we created in Tableau. And all we're doing is we're pointing the audience to another dashboard that is essentially a duplicate with some changes made. So there's the next tip. Another tip, actually, while I'm on this page, another tip is more like a troubleshooting tip. So let me fix this real quick. Troubleshoot. Okay, so now that should be showing the way that I want it to. So when we had created this dashboard, one thing that we were doing is making sure that we were quality checking our numbers. So what we had intended to do was take this year last week, which this data is a little bit old, which was this October 25th week 44 date. What we wanted to do is subtract from that amount week 44 of last year at the same time. Okay, what we actually wound up doing was week 45. So there was an issue that we needed to troubleshoot. So I feel like these tips are along the lines of troubleshooting. So we're getting this 30,000 number, which is we're saying the difference between this year last week versus prior year last week. Again, that was correct. The correct number should have been somewhere around 17,000. Okay, so but I know that that second number, this diff weekly Zoom meetings is problematic, right? So if I look at that calculation, I'm going to come in here. We know that this is our current week. This is our prior week. Okay, so if I click on the actual calculation, what I can see is the calculation that we made in here. And I'll see if I can zoom in a little bit here for you guys. If I click on describe, what you can see is I can actually start copying and pasting some of the calculations in here without even going to the calculated field itself. So I'm going to copy that, and I want to see, is this the field? This should return last year. So I should see 2020. Okay, good. That's showing what I would want it to show. This is probably where we're going to see the issue. So I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to come over here, double click. I'm going to just throw it in there, and then I'm going to move it to text. So look at that. I wanted week 44, and this is week 45. So this is absolutely our problematic field. Great. Now what I'm going to do is we already know what the issue is. After we looked at this, we realized we shouldn't have subtracted 1. Instead, we should have used a date add formula. And I'm going to do that right now. All goes well. I shouldn't have any errors. Great. And there we go. It's updated to week 44 now. That's what we were looking for. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and copy that formula. I'm going to go to that previous year calculated field, which is this one right here. I'm going to find that calculation that was incorrect. And now I'm just going to paste in the new calculation, hit OK. And there's that number that I was looking for, that 17,847. So now all I have to do is drag off these fields that were, kind of throwaway fields that help me kind of determine, what's going on. I basically deconstructed that calculation to find out exactly where the issue was. So now if I go back to the Tempe, great. Now I have that 17,847 that I was looking for. Okay, so next tip here, I wanted to go over conditional formatting within Tableau. So what we have here are different statuses on this map. And each status, as you can see, is associated with a color. So done is black, planned is maroon, and then remaining is gray. And what I wanted was, now these are all statuses. So in our data set, we have a dimension and it's called status, right? But we're not breaking status up into what we want to do is when we hover over each one of these buildings, each circle is a building, we want that color to change according to the status, right? So what we're going to do here is we are going to, I'll just show you how it's actually set up. What we did is we made these fields that are called status and done label. So all the calculation is if the status is done, then done, end it. Don't do anything else, just call it done. We did that for done, planned, and remaining label. And then in the actual tooltip itself, what you do, and I will repeat this part here. What you can do is this, insert all of those labels one by one, right next to each other, no spaces. And remaining, and let's say I want done, I want that to be black, I want this to be maroon, and then I want remaining to be gray. Okay, so now no spaces, everything's right next to each other. And if I hover, that is what gives us those conditionally formatted fields. So done and remaining, like when I hover over planned, done and remaining, there's nothing there. So it centers planned. It knows Tableau knows to center, planned because it's the only thing that's there. Same thing here, planned and remaining are there's nothing there. So we're only showing done. And that's how you can use conditional formatting. And then this is actually another cool trick. If you look at our bar charts here, we have separators here on term. So 21 fall, 21 summer. So I'll show you how to make those. So let's go to the bar chart background. This is the same bar chart. You can see there's no background there. All you do to create that background is do a min 1. we are going to do a dual axis. Then we're going to change the axis of that min1 field to a fixed axis. We're going to do 1. And then we are going to turn these off. So we don't want any axis labels showing. And then we're going to hide this axis. So let's hide the header. And now we want to take these values off because they have nothing to do with what we're about to do. We're going to change this to area. And then there you go. There's your backgrounds. Everything is just like we saw over here. So that wraps up my tips. I'm going to stop sharing and then I'll hand it over to Todd.
All right, thanks, Paul. You have to keep it going and fit inside this time for some quick tips. Here's a quick dashboard we put together and it's being used right now in the actual data conference. It's being populated as we go. So what we do is we have a database that's set up and it's showing different videos, PDF slides, and then different badge numbers. We have data citizens, apprentice, knights, and wizards. It's a quick way to kind of categorize all those trainings into a navigable format. So if you see here, it's a basic dashboard. We got filters on top. Inside, we got the skills, products, module name, whatever the different sizes or the size of level, and then the actual video. If you click on one, I can go to the training itself or the document. And that's just a quick introduction of what we were trying to do and what we're trying to accomplish. So going into here, you see the dashboard itself and how kind of complicated it gets to do something pretty simple in Tableau. You see all these different dual axes, kind of similar to what Paul had done up on top. You see on the side here, there's more fields. These are all the different axes to deal with. But we can break that down into something more simple. So if I make a new sheet, we'll see on the original, we're at skills, products, and module name. I'll bring those in real quick. And searching for the field. All right, so we have that basic, the basic setup. So before in our data set, what it does, it shows there's a column in there that has the link to that PDF, has the link to the video, or it has a link to the slides. And so a quick way to kind of show all these icons is just give me a 0 or a 1. And so if I come over here to the has PDF field that I created, if you look at it, I went in there and just checked if it was null, if there was a link. If it was null, then give me a 0, otherwise give me a 1. Now, I want to put that on an axis. The way to do that is, again, that min1 trick that Paul had came up, and this is a quick way to even try out formulas before you create fields. You can just type whatever formula you think of in here and see how it affects things. So again, I'm going to make a dual axis. Now I have just basically a dummy axis with just the number 1 in every field. Now that I have this, I can take that has PDF and I'm going to put it on. So there's the 2 min1s. You'll notice that it's kind of ambiguous the way it's labeled, and we'll come to that. I'm going to change this to shape. So I'm going to put this has PDF onto shape. I'm going to get rid of the color. And what shape do I want? You see in here, I have this UTO training, University Technology Office, and then this is for the PDF. So I want to give it that PDF icon on the 1s. On the 0s, I want to give it this blank null box. So now that I've done that, then I have the second axis to do the same thing too. Take the color off, the shape. Once I've done it once, it's already defined. I don't have to do it again. So now anywhere that has that 1 has the PDF logo. I can change the size to make it a little more legible. Formatting can come later. You can see that PDF icon. How did I do that? If you come into your folder, if you go into your documents, there's a My Tableau repository. There's a shapes folder. And then I created a UTO training folder. That was the same folder that you saw in the list of shapes. And here's all those little icons I put in there. There's a blank. It's just a transparent box. Here's that PDF icon. A PDF with a transparent background. So now I can use that as my mark on my chart. Now, once I'm here, I want to change the name of it. So I can change the name on this axis, or what I can do is I can come up here and give it a temporary name. Let's say this is PDF. So //PDF, hold down Shift, hit Enter, and then hit Enter. Now I gave it a temp name. So you notice that now it's a lot easier, and it's actually changed the name on the axis. I can do the same thing over here. So that's great, and I'll now have PDF. And now but now say I want to use this later, I can actually grab this. Now I like this formula that I created, even though it's min1, whatever it might be, and I've named it. I can drag it over here to my fields. Now I have this field. It's available. I can use it again later. So that'll come into handy of, okay, I have one axis. Let's clean up this axis. So I'm going to come over to it. I'm going to edit it. I don't need to see that one. So I have PDF. I like that label. I'm going to show no marks. Done there. On the bottom one, I don't want to see it at all. I'm going to wipe out that PDF. You might want to put it on the bottom. It's up to you. I'm going to put none on the marks. It's gone. There's a little more formatting. You get format here, go into the lines, get rid of the 0 lines. So now we're not going to see that line down the middle, so it doesn't exist anymore. Here on the rows, get rid of the, get rid of the lines on the columns and rows. Now I have this clean area that just shows icons. Now you notice if you come back here, it's a lot more to do. So a quick tip is, now that I made that PDF, I'm going to duplicate it because I know it's just a min1. I'm going to duplicate that. I'm going to rename it. I'm going to call it slides. Nope, I'm going to spell correctly this time. Come in here anyway. So slides. And then there's that comment that I created earlier. I can just change it. This is a comment. You can put whatever comments you want for later so you know what it means. Now I have a slides axis. I can drag the slides axis up. I can control drag, click it, put one right next to it. Now I do that right click, dual axis. And then come over here, I want to synchronize the axis. Now I have a slides axis, but now it's a lot easier to clean up later. But now that it says slides, it says PDF, I come over here, I don't want it to say has PDF because that's not what we're doing. So take that off. I already made this has slides become C, similar formula. Check to see if that slides link has a null. It's kind of the inverse, the 1 or nothing. I'm going to put that on the marks again, on the shape. Check the shape. I already have that slides icon selected and the null blank. So now we have another one. So now another column. Again, I can go that shape, make it a little bigger so it matches up. Same cleanup, edit the axis. Get rid of the tick marks. Second axis, get rid of the label. Get rid of tip marks, and we can do this over and over and continue to create these. And we can do the video one as well, but it's the same exact steps. And you can see we did that over and over and over. And now we have a multiple axis. We have the levels, we have the nights. We continue to move along. We got rid of the lines. We did the duplicate by controlling and dragging. We ever make a temp formula, we dragged it down. It's like the GIF down into our formulas so we can keep it. And we can do that for maximums. We can do whatever formulas, and we can keep portions of those formulas as separate fields. So I can go any further, but you can also see that in the original, like if I go to PDF axis, I also made a tooltip link, right? So on the tooltip, I was able to create that PDF tooltip. I made that field that basically is a concatenation of multiple things. Like if it has a PDF, then give me the module name, the description, the date entered, and the skill note. And I'm adding hard returns to format that formula here. And then it shows me all these different things. But when it's null, there's nothing because I checked to see if it was 1 or not first. Then nothing. These are really here, but it doesn't give you any erroneous pop-ups. So that's it for this. I mean, we can get into these and more of these in different sessions, but I think that's a good tooltip session for the day. Any questions?
Cool. Thanks, Paul and Todd. We did have a question. There's a whole thread in the Zoom chat around why you use 2 min1s on both axes. If you guys could talk through that, just so we have it as part of the recording as well.
Oh yeah, I was trying to find my unmute button. Yeah, one of the main reasons was so that the column labels were at the top versus the bottom. That was the main reason. I believe Devin posted formatting as well. I believe for the most part, you should be able to, even if it was one tooltip, like the squares, like the space that Tableau gives you, it would fit it into a box, even if you had one. But yeah, sometimes there is like formatting things you'll want to do, like make one of the pills the Gantt and to push the text over. Like there's different methods. So it can sometimes be formatting too, to answer your question, Devin.
Cool. I've got a question. How did you guys learn these tricks? You know, and then where would you recommend people go to learn more tips and tricks? Because a lot of this stuff is pretty nifty, and I mean, things like being able to type in the rows of columns, like that's a huge time saver. And being able to like, dynamically create those fields up there and then drag them into your data pane. So tell us a little bit more about how you guys got here, right?
Yeah, I think both Todd and I would agree. One of our, biggest inspirations is Ryan Sleeper. He gives out a lot of like really great content. His Playfair Data blog is all written in text and free. And then he has a few books out there as well. But I mean, there's Andy Kriebel, like he's another bizwiz.com. Todd, you can.
Yeah, I mean, I say a comment here: structuring a learning plan for someone new in Tableau. I know I've gone through certificates, I've gone through degree programs that include Tableau. And most of it really to get in there and use it is that book that was recommended earlier, Big Book of Dashboards, is a great one. Storytelling with data, that really just learning what you're trying to do before you do it. But then the technical pieces about Tableau, that's the Tableau training itself. I've had certificates and degree programs just pilot me back into the Tableau trainings that are free. And going through those one by one, just the level by level, and just clicking through them and going along with them, and you get all the basics. And once you get the basics down, then it's more about like, I want to do something now. How can I do it in Tableau, and deciding what you want to do ahead of time. Otherwise, the min one doesn't do any good for you until you think, I want to do a donut. I want to do these icons, and we sit in a room. How can we make that happen? And then looking up different tricks on trying to make what we want happen. I think a big piece of it is planning ahead and what is like wireframing ahead. Wireframing, this is what I want to build, and then go and trying to use Tableau to build it.
Great.
Yeah.
So I don't see any other questions. We do have a whole bunch of links shared. Thanks to Jen Schilling for adding some too. But yeah, if you guys have more questions for Paul and Todd, can people hit you up on the Higher Ed Tug Slack now that we all know how to use it?
Definitely. We're both there.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. So I'm going to switch back over to our slides, and Jenny, take it away.
We have a very exciting, I don't know what to call it, drawing coming up right now. We're about
Yes, we do.
randomly draw several names. Woo, look at all those people in this meeting.
All right.
Randomly draw some names to win some gift cards from the Tableau store.
So some disclaimers here. These names were picked from as everyone who registered. Today's speakers and the Higher Ed Tug leads are not eligible. So if we land on one of our names, we'll spin again. And we have 5 $50 Tableau store gift cards to give away. So
nice sound effects. William Chrisman is the first winner. William, are you here? If you are, you can send us your email address.
right, and that's the other thing. You got to be here.
Let us know if you are.
Nope, let's spin again.
All right, let's spin again. Bonnie Burkhart.
Not seeing Bonnie in the participant list.
This could be challenging. We have a lot of people that sign up so they can get the recording later if they're not able to make it to the actual event, so. Lisa Grantham. Lisa, are you in the meeting today?
I do not see her name either. So I watched one of the other virtual tugs earlier today, and they seriously went through a list of, I don't know, 20 names to pick 5. So we might be in that same boat today.
Jose La Rosa. If you see your name come up, just send us a chat. Let us know you're here. Otherwise, we're just going to keep spinning. Barbara, looks like an award show. Susan Miller.
Not seeing Susan in the chat or participant list either.
Jenna Tucker.
You know what? I'm gonna see if I can get a list of everyone who is actually here.
All right. If you want to
Although it doesn't look like it's gonna let me.
I was gonna
Ooh.
say I could talk about the next meeting.
Yes, I will just keep on spinning in the background and at various pause points, we'll see.
All right, so we do have a link to a survey that you can fill out. Carol Thomas, I know her. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. Okay, so I'm going to put a link in the chat with a survey that you can fill out to give us feedback about today's meeting. And a link where you can sign up for our December TUG meeting. Which is going to be on December 16th, if I remember correctly.
December 7th.
Sorry, 7th. That's right, 7th.
Right. There a Brianna McClure here? Nope, I'll just keep on spinning.
And okay, yes. And then we have our important links that we like to share out every meeting. We have our user group site. We have our email address. So if you want to, volunteer to be a Meet the Community member or to present at a future TUG meeting, you can just get all the co-leaders at once by sending it to higheredtug@gmail.com. There's a link to our Slack channel and a link to our higher ed community forum. And last but not least, our Tableau public page. I can go ahead and post all of those in the chat.
So John Doyle has a good idea. We are going to look hopefully for the person who's called next, but in case they're not here, we're just going to pick the next name on the list alphabetically. So Teresa Wong, I don't see her name, so let's see who the next person is after Teresa when we go alphabetically on our really, really big list of people who are here. Tina Navis, you are our first official winner. I'm gonna just keep on spinning. We'll try to do this fast now. Keith Hack. I don't see a Keith. hack, but I do see a Keith Underwood. So Keith Underwood, you got a gift card.
Thank you.
No problem. We adjust on the fly. This is how this works, right? Wes Greenberg. Don't see a Wes, but I see a Whitney Ding. So Whitney, you got a card. I feel like Oprah, you get a card, you get a card. Everyone gets a card, but not everyone. We don't have Oprah type money. Erica Bessler. Let's see. I do not see Erica, but I do see Fola Oranuga. So Fola, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name, but you get a card.
Oh, thank you.
And one more, I think. Yes, one more, and then we'll get back to real things. This wheel of names, it takes a while to spin. And Deborah Cavey. Deborah is not here, but Denise Benning or Beaning, I'm not sure. You get a gift card. Thank you everyone for playing. And now back to the actually scheduled program.
All right, so for the last part of our tug today, we just wanted to chat a little bit about the Tableau conference for anyone who attended or has watched any of the videos since then. If you don't feel like sticking around to chat, if you didn't go to the conference and don't feel like you want to hear about it, you can go ahead and log off, and we'll be sharing out the recording link as soon as that becomes available. But if you do want to stick around and chat, we are going to split up into breakout rooms and just talk about your favorite sessions or insights from the Tableau conference, the keynotes. You can just share your takeaways, anything you want. You can join me in trying to figure out what's going on for the next year's conference. So we'll just give you a minute to log off if you don't want to stick around for that. And then we will split up into breakout rooms. We really appreciate everybody coming today.